Everybody, we'll call this meeting to order. Chair Lent, roll call please.
Commissioner Gainey?
Yes.
Commissioner Trujillo?
Yes.
Commissioner Butcher?
Yes.
Commissioner Sanchez?
Here.
Mayor Combs?
Here, thank you. And Commissioner Sanchez will now lead us in the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please bow your head. Our Heavenly Father, we just want to thank you for today, for the opportunity to be here. We want to thank you for our city government, officials. Father, we thank you for the people that work here for Lovington that make this city work. I ask that you will bless them in their efforts. And Father, tonight as we go through our agenda, we ask that you would just help us make the right decisions. Help us to help Lovington and our citizens to come forward. Father, we just thank you for the opportunity to serve this city and serve our constituents. We want to thank you for each one of them. Ask that you would bless our efforts tonight. Bless everyone, Lord, and help everyone as we go through this difficult time, that you would just guide us and give us, Lord, that which we need to help our city grow and to help our city in this time. Father, we just thank you for everyone that serves this country, wherever they may be, that you will protect them and help them. Father, we ask for our policemen, for our firemen in this country, Lord, in this time that we are having, that we would just be able to work together and be united in the way that you would see fit for each one of us. Father, all of these things, we just ask in the name of Jesus, thy Son, and we give you the honor and the glory. Amen.
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 Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I salute
The flag of the state of New Mexico and the symbol of perfect friendship among united cultures.
Thank you. Be seated.
Oh, sounds a lot louder.
I didn't see anybody mumbles there. I didn't see anybody going. All right, very good. I'll entertain a motion for the approval of agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda as submitted.
Second. We have a second. Any discussion? Seeing there's no discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. I'll entertain another motion.
Make the motion, consideration of the regular minutes of September 12th, 2016.
I'll second that.
We have a second. Any discussion? Any questions, comments? All right. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, very good. We'll go to commissioners and staff report. Let's start with Wyatt.
Commissioners and Mayor, just to let you give a little report on Commercial Street. All the ditches have been filled in, the culverts in front of the residents, and last Tuesday they did stripe and finish out on the pavement side of it. Just give you a little update.
Thank you for that. We appreciate that. And I'm sure the residents do as well. Okay. Anything else? What?
No, sir.
Okay. All right, very good. Thank you. Here.
Well, your mayor and commission, this was our first official start date of using a new Encode software. We've had a couple of little hang-ups that kept us from really getting moving on it today. However, it looks like it'll be tomorrow before we really start working in the software. But we're making progress.
Very good. That's with Tyler, is that correct?
Yes, sir, with Tyler Encode. For Tyler Technologies Encode software.
Right. How's the cooperation from them to us being late?
We're down at the wire trying to get a lot of things going. We have one of their representatives here now to help us hands-on to understand and give instruction. So I really feel they've been very cooperative.
He's here in Lovington, is that correct?
Yes.
Oh, very good. All right.
As far as, sometimes some communication can break down a little, talking to one person when I should have spoke with someone else, but overall, I'd say that they've been rather responsive.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Gary. Anything else?
No, sir, unless anybody else has anything.
Okay. Ms. Weiss?
I'm good, thank you.
Very good. Carolyn?
I just want to say thank you. I recently lost my father, and
Yes.
thank you for the flowers and cakes. It was nice. I appreciate it very much.
And again, our condolences to you as a commission, and we're here for you for whatever you need, Carolyn. Thank you. Commissioner Sanchez?
I have nothing to report.
I thought you had something you were holding. Okay, very good, thank you. Commissioner Butcher?
Yes, I'd like to address it to Wyatt. On that, the drainage system, how is it holding up since we had all this rain? Is it draining the proper on Commercial Street or?
On Commercial Street, everything that was designed, the ditches and everything are doing their jobs. We're having a little bit at the very end of Commercial and Avenue D where it turns into State about going, the flow and everything, getting it to flow down the correct path. But all the work that was done on Commercial Street was a major improvement. It's doing its job.
Well, that's awesome. And then, well, thank you for that. And then also, I'd just like to give a shout out to Ray Lynn for helping me get the chamber set up for the reunions that we had the last week or so. We appreciate that very much. And James and the city. Those are,
How many years? How many years?
that was 40 years.
40 years, all
Yeah.
right. Very good.
But thank y'all for that. And also thank the city, James, and some of the staff, and for getting stuff prepared out to the park for us. It was very good.
All right, very good. And I just had so was that all?
Yes.
Commissioner, okay. I just had a question, I'm not sure, is it, if it's Ellen or Tabitha or Raylene, are we hosting a forum for the county candidates coming up soon?
Thursday, the EDC will decide what date, but I believe the EDC is going to probably be the one that's going to host it.
Any idea when that's going to be?
No, we're looking at a couple of dates, but I haven't pinpointed the date yet. Once I find out, I will send the information along to everyone.
All right, very good. Thank you.
We'll also help blast that and publicize that.
Okay, sounds good. Appreciate you guys doing it. Commissioner Trujillo,
Thank you.
Commissioner Gandy.
James, on the property on, what is that, Jackson, that burned a few years ago? On Second Street, they were trying to do some cleanup.
Oh, yes, sir.
Trying to
Yes, sir.
solve it. Do we have any, what's the holdup? I thought we were supposed to get that all cleaned up. That is good.
Actually, that is, that property has been cleaned up and actually complies with current code, even though it looks,
Please.
yes.
Okay. Just a question. That's all I have, sir.
Very good, thank you. Chief Rodriguez.
Nothing, sir. Thank you.
I know you're going to only release probably so much, but can you give us an update on the shooting on Monroe?
Briefly, yes, the guy is stable. They were out for several hours of photo arrays as of yesterday evening and this morning. They are pretty close to wrapping that one up. I would say probably in the next 24 hours, they should be wrapped up.
Very good. The victim is stable, is that correct?
Yes.
Lubbock.
Yes.
Okay. Very good. Thank you. Chief in standby.
Nothing to report.
Nothing at all. Okay. All right. James.
Yes, Mayor, Commissioners, we've been asked a lot of questions about the current surveying that's occurring on Main Street. That is actually part of the New Mexico 18 or Lovington Main Street reconstruction project that Pettigrew and Associates and WH Pacific are currently designing. It's actually in the preliminary design phase. They're going to be doing a complete reconstruction of Main Street, starting at the intersection of Main and Commercial and ending at Gilmore Road and State 18, which is the area of the cheese plant. So they are currently doing drainage assessments, also surveying right-of-ways. It appears right now that the tentative construction start date will be spring of 2018. The project, of course, we haven't had any, I guess you would say, a stakeholder kickoff meeting yet. We have spoken to both Pedigree and WH Pacific, and they're going to be coordinating a meeting with the city as well as other people involved in the project. One of the issues that we're going to address, of course, is ADA accessibility. They will have to comply with ADA standards. So we'll hopefully be getting some sidewalk reconstruction in on this project as well.
Very good, thank you. Any questions, comments, discussion from the commission?
What was the date of start date on that again?
September 18th.
Spring of 2018.
I thought you said 2028.
Oh, no, 2018. Also, Mayor and Commissioners, Jamie Bailey will be hosting a retirement reception here at City Hall tomorrow from 2:30 to 4:30. And that's all I have, sir.
Do we have a process in place to replace her?
We actually have posted the position and currently accepting applications until October 7th.
Okay, very good. All right. Now, legal counsel, stand. Anything for you, sir?
We have nothing, Mayor.
Okay, very good.
Patrick still crying over the lost history with his Pittsburgh Steelers. So
I haven't talked to Patrick, he is out of state.
Okay, very good. All right. Now we're going to public comment. Anybody wishing to address the commission at this time is welcome to do so. If you'll keep it to about 3 minutes, identify yourself and step up to the podium. Was there a scare tactic? Raylene, is that what it was? Okay, seeing nobody stepping up to the podium, we'll go on into action items. I'll entertain a motion.
make a motion to consider approval of ordinance number 548, amending chapter 8.16, garbage, refuse, and weeds of the Lovington Municipal Code.
I'll second that.
We have a second. James.
Mayor and Commissioners, ordinance 548 will amend the weed ordinance, as we call it. This has been advertised as required and is ready for final commission approval. This will update the ordinance to require ensuring that sidewalks, curbs, and gutters remain clear of all grass, weeds, dirt, or debris. Also allows our code enforcement to immediately issue a citation for any weeds in excess of 15 inches while we still have a warning system in place. But also for repeat offenses, we'll have the ability now, it's very clear in the language that we can immediately issue another citation for repeat offenses.
And the first part of that, James, that requires the sidewalks, curbs, and gutters, that pertains to the residents or owners, is that correct?
It's actually in all zones, the owners of the property, owners or occupants of the property.
Okay. All right, very good. Questions?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
You said it had to, like places where the grass and the weed have gone over the curb onto the street.
Yes, sir.
Who is responsible for that?
That is actually the property owner, sir. It has been for many years. This just ensured, but the only way that we could actually enforce that is if the weeds or grass exceeded 10 inches in height. But it's always been the responsibility of the property owner to maintain those areas.
So if they're not that high, then it's okay. I mean, I've never seen them cut off if whoever has them.
Actually, no, sir. The way this ordinance is read is that you do need to keep those clear. Sidewalks clear regardless of any height, and that's for ADA issues and pedestrian access. And as far as curbing goes, that's to facilitate drainage.
That's all.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any other questions by the Commission?
Can we hold this vote until I get through one on my back lot?
Laura's not here, so.
Takes 90 days on it to go into effect. Joe.
Any other discussion, any questions, comments? By the Commission? Seeing as there is none, we'll we'll go to a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, I'll entertain another motion.
I'd like to make a motion to consider Resolution 2016-90, authorizing and approving submission of completed application for financial assistance and project approval with the New Mexico Finance Authority.
Second that.
We have a second by Commissioner Butcher. James, please.
Mayor and Commissioners, this is a planning grant that we're applying for through the New Mexico Finance Authority. Part of the process is to actually have a resolution approving the application. We'll be asking the Finance Authority for $50,000 to be matched with $50,000 of economic development funds to begin the planning process for an industrial park. Namely, it will identify site sizes, what infrastructure we need and a potential layout, the water, sewer, and electrical needs, also customer basis, and it will also have estimates from the engineer on construction costs. But this will be the first step in actually developing the industrial park so we can actually market it and have tenants out there.
Very good. Thank you.
That would consist of everything off the Hobbs Highway, is that what you're referring, all the way to Cali, sir?
The industrial park site is actually located right off of I guess you would call it West Stiles Road on the west side of 18. It's about a mile and a half where Miko Services Yard is.
Okay.
We actually have an 800-acre site out there that we can actually develop for the industrial park, and it is in the city limits.
What kind of development do we still plan? I should ask James. What are we planning for as far as developing it?
Mayor and Commissioners, right now we have raw land. It's not subdivided, so we would need to look into what types of lots will we need to subdivide. Would we need, how many 5-acre tracts would they recommend? 10-acre, 20-acre, or even some 100-acre tracts. Then we would need to also determine water and wastewater needs out there. Do we need to tie that into the municipal distribution system as far as water? Or would it make sense to have the clients actually have domestic water wells? Would we, for wastewater needs, do we need to have individual septic systems? Do we need to have our own separate treatment plant out there to handle those needs? Looking at different electrical needs, of course, that will be working with our co-op. And then a street or a road network. Another consideration is also location of a potential rail spur. Some of the potential or interests, we call them RTOs, is that correct? PROs that the EDC receives. They request a lot of this information as far as, does your site have this electrical, water, railroad access, highway access. One potential component, once we get a cost estimate on this, also would be what type of marketing, what type of businesses should we market to as well.
All right, very good. Thank you. All right. Any other discussion? All right. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. I'll entertain another motion.
I'd like to make a motion to consider Resolution 2016-91, authorizing execution of an agreement between the city and WDG Architects for the 17th Street Fire Station engineering design.
Second motion.
We have a second. James?
Mayor, Commissioners, the RFP for the fire station design and engineering services was awarded to WDG Architects. This contract will allow us to actually start the planning and design process. The architecture basic services are about 6.75% of the construction costs. So as of right now, we're looking at an estimate of $135,000 plus New Mexico GRT, which this will actually be funded through capital outlay appropriations that we currently have.
Thank you. Questions from the commission? Yes, sir. Commissioner Sanchez?
This is going to be on 17th Street, back that away, or?
Correct, sir. It'll be in the area of 17th and Dogwood, if Dogwood were to go straight through. We have city-owned tract of land out there.
What would be the increase in operational cost for the fire department for having, I know it helps our whatever base, but what's the increase in operational costs going to be for having a second department over
I have that information, but not with me.
Okay.
We actually looked at that. Right, we could technically open it up as an unmanned station to where you're larger, but you will incur some operational costs as far as personnel, eventual additional personnel, but you're also looking at utilities. And part of this planning process will figure out what are the operational costs of the building, less any personnel costs.
Okay.
The station is being designed to where it could accommodate an additional crew of 6 people. But would 6 people immediately be needed to open up the station? No, sir. But let me visit with the chief, and we can get you those cost estimates.
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
Chief, on that fire station, are we gonna need more fire trucks, or do we have enough already?
Mayor, Commissioners, actually, we have an adequate number of apparatus. It would simply just be repositioning those apparatus to the new station. So you would not need to purchase additional fire units.
Let me ask you about the 6 fire personnel that are going to be stationed there. Would that be additional personnel we would have to hire, or just transfer from our current station?
Mayor and Commissioners, it's being built out for 6, that's for future expansion. In order to staff that with the 6, and the current 6, we would have to, yes, hire additional personnel.
Any other questions? Comments? All right. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? None opposed, motion carries. I'll entertain another motion.
Make a motion we consider Resolution 2016-92, adoption of New Mexico PRC Transportation Division statewide ambulance tariff rates effective October 1st, 2016.
I'll second that.
We have a second. James.
Yes, Mayor and Commissioners, I have Carl Christensen here. He's our EMS coordinator, but this is actually a project that's been in the works at the state level as far as the statewide EMS advisory committee for several years. The ambulance rates are actually governed or regulated by the New Mexico Public Regulation Commission because this is a transportation type event. They actually govern anything related to fees or rates charged for transportation. What the Public Regulation Commission did was they have authorized the increase of a tariff or what you are legally allowed to charge for ambulance transportation if you are what they call certificated service, which means that you are authorized to transport from the scene of an emergency to a hospital, which our fire department is. Last increase statewide was 7 years ago, so they have looked at what are the Medicare and Medicaid reimbursement rates and hearings that they had. This tariff would go into effect October 1st, and we would need to just formally adopt it by resolution.
And just to be clear, is the 22% increase, is that correct?
Mayor, Commissioners, yes, sir. If you look at the comparison, it's around a 22% increase. The most substantial increase was what they call specialty care transport. It had a 36% increase. However, our EMS department does not do specialty care transport. We don't have the licensure or equipment available to perform the service.
What kind of transport was it?
Specialty care transport.
Okay, what does that involve?
This would be when you have, I guess you would say, the nearest equivalent. We have paramedics and we have EMT intermediates. This is any care that can't be provided by the people licensed at that level. So it's an additional skill.
Okay. Any other questions? No? No other discussion?
Pretty big jump.
But it's in, we would conform with what the state
Yes, sir.
is doing statewide, and what is allowed under the insurance rates, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, very good. All right, any other discussion, questions, comments? All right. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. I'll entertain another motion.
I'd like to make a motion to consider resolution 2016-93, participation in local government road program administered by New Mexico Department.
Transportation.
Yeah.
I second.
We have a second, very good. James?
Mayor and Commissioners, we had previously authorized this particular road fund grant. This is for the first phase of 17th Street between Avenue D and Jefferson. We are currently working on the drainage design and needing to acquire some additional land for retention ponds. And we are confident that we will be finished with that transaction and acquisition before the end of the year. However, we did have on this particular grant a termination date of December 31st of 2016. Talking with New Mexico DOT, they said we could go ahead and start, but just to be on the safe side, go ahead and request an extension. Well, in order to get that extension, we did put that information in a letter to them requesting that, but we have to adopt this resolution as well.
Have we sent the letter off already?
No, sir, I have to send it in with this, so it will go out first thing in the morning.
Okay. All right, very good. All right, any questions? Comments? All right, all in favor of this resolution, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. I'll entertain another motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve, council payment.
Second.
We have a second. Mr. Gary?
If I may, your mayor and commission, the single largest expense was to the New Mexico Self-Insurance Fund for our workers' compensation. We pay that biannually. Beyond that, if you have any questions, I'm available for you.
What was the Artesia fire equipment?
I really don't know what other than it says pump shift repairs, that's all I really know.
That was actually for one of our fire engines, our old E1. We had to get a pump repaired on it so we could actually use it, make it operational again.
So Artesia, that's just a private?
Our Artesia fire suit we actually use
Okay.
for all of our fire engine repairs.
Okay, all right, very good. Any other questions by the commission? Okay, very good. Anybody else? All right, very good. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Same sign. Motion carries unanimously. All right. If there's nothing else to consider, we'll call this meeting adjourned. Thank you very much, guys.